everybody, and welcome to We Live in Color. I'm your host, Deontay Damper. Now, before we start this amazing episode, I need you to like, share, and subscribe to Converge. Well, you'll learn more about We Live in Color. You'll learn more about how to donate, and you'll learn more about how to donate. Go to whereweconverge.com to see why Black media matters. And you know, I'm so happy to have my guest coming in here today, Ashley K. Smith, who's going to talk to me a little bit more about her life behind the lens. One of the most amazing photographers, and we have a story that is also a part of my and her journey that we're going to share a little bit here today. But first, we got to hear from my boos at Seattle Gay News. What's up, Madison? What's up, CJ? What's up, Maddie? What's happening this week?
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Seattle Gay News Community Brief. I'm Madison Jones.
And I'm CJ Emerson, subbing in for Maddie Mooney.
And we're here to give you the latest news and events going on in Seattle's LGBTQIA2 Spirit Plus community. But before we get into that, of course, we need to do our what's going on in the world of Madison and CJ.
Yep.
CJ, are you a reader at all? Do you like books?
I am a reader. Well, I'm an aspiring reader. I do a lot of kind of odd jobs and shifts, and when there's like a waiting time, I have this big book bag that I keep beside me that I get just filled with books from the library. So that's how I kill time, you know?
What's your poison? What are you reading?
What is my poison? I've been reading, as I'm spending more time in my local comic shop, so I've been reading Heartstopper has been the real comfort, you know. I know they got the 6th issue coming out. Alice Osman, I believe, is the name of the author, and I'm very excited for it.
Cool. I'm completely unfamiliar with that and comics in general. Would you be able to tell me and the folks at home what Heartstopper is? Like,
I mean, if you haven't heard about it, you are missing out. It's a complete comfort read. It is the story of two, I believe, high school boys who meet on a rugby team and fall in love. And it's just their like journey into adulthood. And it's just really, really beautifully drawn. It has almost this watercolor style to it. And just a really, really sweet, natural, really heartfelt writing. And I definitely recommend reading the novels before watching the show, because I think just the artistry and the love and care in every drawing is just so palpable through the page.
Wow, I had no clue. I'm glad there's very like good, wholesome, heartfelt, like
absolutely
queer stories in comics.
We haven't even talked about this book you put here as a prop.
So I have been reading a lot of queer literature recently, and right now I've been reading Stag Dance by Tori Peters. It's a story about lumberjacks, including this one lumberjack who's having kind of this like queer awakening with like other lumberjacks in the camp and stuff. It's very interesting, written by a trans woman. She wrote Detransition Baby, which like got on the New York Times bestseller list a couple years back. So if you like queer and trans authors and stories, definitely check out some of Tori Peters' stuff.
You've always got a few like queer and trans books on your desk, and I think that's what makes you a really good writer, is that good writers are great readers at the end of the day. So yeah.
I mean, I just love books. I don't know. Yeah. All right. So with that, we will get into the news. Our top story is, who will you be voting for this November? Candidates are starting to line up for open seats around Washington, including the Washington Supreme Court, which could determine the legal fate of the recently passed millionaire's tax.
Yeah, and two names to keep in mind in this upcoming race are appeals judge Michael Diaz, running against former public defender Jamie Hawk to replace Justice Montoya Lewis. Diaz has recently been endorsed by the governor, but has been judged for defending ICE agents at the DOJ. And Hawk presents herself as a more progressive option, but the legal community has expressed concerns about her decision-making skills. So for more coverage of more races, that's just like the surface level, tip of the iceberg. If you want more coverage, including looks at openly queer and trans candidates, check out the new May issue of SGN. It's available for free at a cafe or a library near you.
Next, could we soon be seeing teeny homes in the neighborhood? Plans were recently found for the Capitol Hill tiny village and encampment with 32 shelters to help unhoused Seattleites transition off the streets. It's part of Katie Wilson's ambitious response to the homelessness crisis here, and she wants to have 500 new shelters open by the start of the World Cup in June. CJ, do you think she's going to meet that goal in time?
No, I can't. I can't in good conscience say that, because it's just such a short window of time. I mean, it's like, I think by the time we're recording this, like 40, 50 days to set up like nearly hundreds of small homes. It's just, it doesn't make like plausible sense, but even like putting the logics aside, I admire the aspiration and like the full-throated commitment she's taken to the homelessness issue.
Yeah.
Like she is putting, like, whether it's through her work with the city council or work out in the public sphere, like she's really putting down the hard work to address the homelessness crisis. And, you know, for some, I think mayors who really dial into a singular issue could be seen as a negative, but I really see it as a positive. I don't want a mayor who's spreading themselves thin. I want them, just like Wilson is saying, like treating it like an emergency, treating it like it deserves all the attention is, I think, the smart approach. Because, you know, as a mayor, you're around for 4 or 5 years. Why not take the beginning of your time to really dial in on an important issue and bring results, meaningful, undeniable results. And so, you know, even if you question her timetable, I think she will be able to do 1,000 houses by the end of the year, which is another goal of hers. I just don't think this 500 before the World Cup is plausible. I think that is going to be the right approach, and we're going to look back on that. I was like, I'm really glad she focused on the homelessness crisis, because that's what we needed. Focus.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, it's good to have strong aspirations and strong goals, and you don't always meet them. But, you know, as long as we're eventually getting to what we need, that's the most important thing.
You can always be too optimistic, but I'd rather that than like a mayor who's nihilistic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And then, I mean, our last story is a shout out to the gardeners, artists, and volunteers behind Black Panther Park, which officially opened back on April 19th. The park brings a much needed outdoors community space to the people of Skyway, and we love to see community action come to fruition.
Mm-hmm. Now that's all the time we have for our community brief. Thanks for watching. Now, back to you, Deontay.
I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for the update. And y'all need to make sure you're following SGN on Instagram, and make sure y'all check out the website to see all the news that's happening in our community. We are under our climate. We're under attack, but we are working together. So that's exactly why this works. The Black Media Matters studio, us here at Converge, and our lovely community folks at SGN. We're one. And I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for being a part of the team. And when we come back, Ashley K. Smith, you're watching We Live in Color.
All right, yo, this is it. Okay?
Now's your chance to join the Days to Come Reading Challenge to ignite the civic imagination needed for racial repair in Washington state. Read, discuss, and take action until Juneteenth to bring Dr. King's vision of a truly just society to life. Visit saarcpnw.org for more information.
And welcome back to We Live in Color. Now, without further ado, I just want to say for the record, I have asked this lovely woman to come to the studio for 5 years in a row. And today, I finally have her here. I finally have her here to talk about the light behind the lens. Ashley K. Smith.
Well, you ain't gotta say that.
I was just really thinking about it. This is a Black show. So in my head, I'm just like, you know what? Now that you're here, I'm just so, because the reality of it is you've just done so much amazing work. And every time when I see you post, or every time I see a senior photo, or every time I see you at a GSBA event, I'm just so moved by your movement, and it means a lot to me. So I'm just so happy to have you here, because you are a part of the legacy of We Live in Color. You're a part of the legacy of community.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to finally be here. I know I could have been here a long time ago, but you know, ain't nothing like the present.
Ain't nothing like the present. But let's get into the past a little bit, right? Let's talk a little bit about your childhood. Where'd you grow up?
So I'm originally from California.
You're from Cali?
Yeah.
I always just thought you was from the North End.
I grew up in the North.
Okay.
So I'm always going to rep Cali, even though I got New York on the head. I understand.
Yeah.
But originally from Stockton, but I grew up in Everett. For majority of my life, I was in Everett, and then I went to high school back in California in Tracy, and then I came back and graduated from Everett High School.
Okay.
So Everett is pretty much where I resided, but I was a part of a lot of church. So we traveled. We were Kojic, so we was in church
Okay.
5,
For
6
folks
days a
who
week.
are just now tuning in, and my director, who also grew up Kojic, can you explain to us what Kojic is?
Kojic stands for Church of God in Christ, where you're in church 6 to 7 days a week.
And I have
All day Sunday.
all day, every day.
Yes.
I have friends that I didn't get to see till we were about 21. So
Pretty much. I mean, I was in the choir. I was in the youth choir. I was in the district choir. I was in the state choir. I was in youth YWCC, YPWW, Wednesday night fellowship. My aunt, for some odd reason, took us not only to Kojic, we also went to the white church. So on Sunday mornings, we was at FBC or BCA early in the morning, and then we went to Bible Way. So, and then we was at some 4:00 service.
Oh, listen, not getting home till 6. My grandma used to do the same thing to me too.
Yeah.
So as we grow into ourselves, how was it navigating like church and self?
Yeah. You know what? Immediately, I think growing up as a young person, going to church, that was just our norm. It was just what you did, and everyone in my family did it. Like everyone in my family that I got to have like a close relationship with, my aunt and uncle, they were pastor of SIC, and they did like a lot of youth outreach in Pioneer Square. So that was their thing. And then my aunt, she was a not on paper missionary, but that was her job. I didn't see her majority of the day growing up because I was like, what are you doing today? She was like, oh, found this person at the grocery store. They needed something. And she always was out on the vineyard is what, the church says. And so it was just in us, and, as you get older, you start questioning, you start trying to figure out who you are. And I think it was probably around middle school where I start questioning my belief, right? Belief in God, but also my belief in like who I am and my identity. But I ran from my identity for the longest. And so we're talking about We Live in Color. The first thing when you mentioned was like, I remember being like 13, 15, 17, 20 years old at the altar praying the gay away.
Wow.
No one knew in my family. I think like when I start telling people, some people like my friends are like, we were just waiting for you to like finally realize. But for the longest, like I would run out of locker rooms because I didn't want anyone to think that I was staring at them or making them uncomfortable. And then when I was in college and I was out, I would do the same thing. We were forced to take showers, but it was my experience with that was the girls didn't want to take showers with me, and I'm like, girl,
Wow.
like, ain't nobody looking at you, right?
Right.
So it was a struggle. I think that when you're young, you do as you're told, and then when you're older, you get to make those decisions for yourself. And so majority of my upbringing was, just doing what I was told, which was go to church, be saved, live that life, right? Don't cuss, don't drink, don't smoke, don't have sex, all those things. I didn't do any of those things because I thought I was going to go to hell. And so being gay was another thing, which was the biggest sin you could do was, be gay. And so I kind of like, if you ever see old photos of me, I was your femme presenting woman. And yeah.
At what point did you say, you know what, I'm owning this?
I was in college, and specifically, I'll tell this quick story. So when I first got to college, I went to a lot of colleges, but I went to Everett Community College, and that was where I found my voice, found who I was. But I remember when I was kind of like not at the point where I even acknowledging to myself. And there was a drag show on campus. Like we had drag shows on our community college. I went to Everett Community College, and we had a drag show, and I was like, I remember telling my friends, if my family caught me in there, they would go berserk. And so I didn't go inside that year. And then the following year, I did go inside. And then the year after that, I actually was the one that put on the drag show. I was the one who we opened a Pride Center. I did the ribbon cutting for the Pride Center.
Beautiful.
But it was because of the folks on campus that really just was like, hey, you get to be you. Because at one point I struggled so much where I got kicked out of my house, not because I was gay, but because my mental health was so bad where I just did some things that, wasn't supposed to do. And in a Black household, you ain't gonna listen.
We all got it.
Get out, right?
We all had it.
And so I was kicked out and trying to just navigate that mental health. And it got to the point where it was like, either this is gonna take me out or I'm gonna live my truth. And I chose to live my truth. And, it's been a journey, but at the end of the day, it's been the best journey ever.
See, and that's beautiful. And we need to unpack, because I've also watched you also walk in the spaces of overcoming grief. And I've also watched your lens create so many beautiful memories. Yeah. So let's unpack that. We're gonna take one break and we'll be right back. You're watching We Live in Color.
This May, Seattle Opera presents the return of Bizet's celebrated classic, Carmen. A mesmerizing story of obsession, dazzling sets, elaborate costumes, and iconic melodies make Carmen irresistible. Don't miss Carmen, May 2nd through 17th at McCaw Hall. Details at seattleopera.org.
Discover the raw, essential story of Northwest modernism through the Seattle Art Museum's Beyond Mysticism. This exhibition features over 150 pieces celebrating the region's natural beauty and urban life. Get your tickets today at seattleartmuseum.org. We'll see you there.
It's nice that we have resources to help us, follow our dream and still go to college, continue education.
FAFSA has definitely given me the chance to get that post-secondary education that I want to get.
As AVID teachers, we really help our students through those processes.
So being able to provide all the tools is a gift.
The opportunity the doors are open for him to go to any college that he wants, any university statewide.
And we're back with We Live in Color, Ashley K. Smith.
Hey.
We were talking earlier, and it just kind of stuck with me about you've been able to, yes, you said you've been to many colleges. Yes, you had to overcome that church hurt, as many of us have had, and then being able to channel grief. How did you walk yourself through that?
I feel like I'm still navigating that. It's not something that, you just get over.
Do you feel comfortable sharing?
Yeah. I feel like part of my grief journey was in 2015, January 2015, I lost my grandma. Mm-hmm. And then April of 2015, I lost my aunt. And then October of 2015, I lost my mom. Right. And then you keep going. 2017, I lost my aunt, who I'm named after, who raised me. My mom and my aunt, both, I was adopted. Mm-hmm. So I was raised by two beautiful women. And then after that, my other aunt passed away. And then my other grandma passed away. And so in those 5 years, right now I'm in my early 20s, right? 2015, we're talking about 11 years ago. I'm 31. So I was 20 years old. Right. Mm-hmm. And so I thought I had the world, right? I thought I had the world figured out, thought I was doing what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anything. I was a kid. I was a baby. And so navigating my 20s and now in my 30s, now becoming a step parent, right? Mm-hmm. Being engaged, grief has its ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
And it's just trying every day to wake up. And in those days where I can't, I just don't. I stay under the covers, mm-hmm. or sometimes it's asking for that support that we need.
And that's beautiful that you do have that support, and I like how you're just like, well, I've overcame grief. It's like, no, grief, it still exists, especially when those dates come up. What's some tools, because we have very many parents and families that watch, right? What are some tools that you could give to community to help overcome their grief?
Actually, I laugh at first because I'm like, I don't have the answer. But there is a woman, her name is Shanu, mm-hmm. Or Camila is what community. Some people know her as Shanu, others know her as Camila. But when my mom died in October of 2015, the week after her service, she invited me to a grief circle. Where I was like, it was like called like Surviving the Holidays. You know, prior to that, you don't know nothing about that because that's just not your life. And so she invited me to that, and it gave me some tools. No, did I immediately use them at that moment? No. But one of the things that I could say that helped me was having someone who experienced something similar, losing your parent. Shanu lost her parent early on in life. And so being able to connect with her. And in the last several years, she does like the week before Mother's Day or like the day before Mother's Day, something like that. She'll do like grief circles, and then she'll do ones for the holidays, surviving the holidays as well. And so she's been doing this for some years. And even in the last ones that I've been to, there was other ladies that were a part of it when I first started. And they were like, wow, the growth and the healing. And honestly, it was just, again, finding other people, allowing my time to be my time. A lot of people think that I've switched up on them, but honestly, it's just, I've had to take a step back from doing a lot of things and just focusing on me. And I feel like now it's been therapy. And because of, I'll shout them out, Washington Therapy Fund.
Say it again.
Washington Therapy Fund.
Okay.
They have really helped me. In the last 2 years, they've paid for 10 of my sessions with my therapist, dope therapist. Shout out to her, she's watching. But they have really helped me to go onto this therapy journey where I also get to have those opportunities where I get to, cuss or yell or be weird or whatever it is that I am experiencing that moment. And yeah.
Yeah. And that's real. I think that when we're talking about our therapy journeys and where we've been, if we can find a safe place to land, that's what I think is really important. And especially when you have a good therapist, meaning that you're going to find your own journey by talking it through it with me. And we're going to be on, I feel like sometimes we feel like we're walking alone.
Yeah. And I think my whole story, like the lady that is my therapist, she grew up in church. She's gay. She's a Black woman. She's navigating being a parent. And so a lot of that stuff, I get to connect with her. And it's more than just, all right, sit down and tell me your problems, but it's also like her sharing her experience and different things. So therapy has been really good. And
also, you picked up that camera.
I did.
At what point did you say, this is what I want to do?
I feel like I have those moments often where I'm like, this is why I want to do this. But honestly, I would say, so in 2018 or 19, I finally was like, you know what? Yes, I've been strickled or whatever the right word. I've been, crippled in grief, but I decided that the reason why I picked up the camera was actually, I wanted to get a camera to tell the stories of the elders in our community. I wanted to be able to share it in black and white. I wanted to do a gallery, and I wanted to do a video to accompany them where I was going to, because the thing that I learned was, right, once the person dies, you no longer nothing, right? There's nothing more. And so I wanted to grab our elders in our community stories before they passed. As I said, I've lost a lot of elders in my community. And so doing so, I started, that's what I started with. And what was crazy was the first day that I got my camera, I came down to the waterfront with my friend, and I ran into this random guy from Arizona, and he had this really cool glass ball, whatever. And he was like, hey, if you show me around, I'll teach you about photography. He told me this simple thing called the exposure triangle. If you know photography, you know it.
I don't know what the hell that is.
I know. But from that, I didn't realize there was so much to photography, right? So I got immersed in learning about photography. I love learning. But then the pandemic hit. So this was before the pandemic, but the pandemic hit, and I started taking classes online. And a lot of people were like, how can you connect your why to your photography? How can you stand out? How can you, whatever it is, right? And so I finally was like, oh, shoot. Okay, cool. But I have to take a step back, because when I first bought my camera, I remember posting on social media, and I was just looking to build my portfolio. So around that first week, I met you.
Yeah.
I don't think we had met before.
No, we never met.
But I had met you, and I met you at Genesee Park.
Yep.
And
Shout out to the South End.
Shout out to the South End. And you just need some headshots. I came all the way from Linwood. It was doing free photos, whatever, just to build my portfolio. And it was actually because of you. You said this phrase of your time is worth it. Something around like your time is worth it. You should be paid for your time and people will pay for this. And then that was the seed that was like, you know what? Shoot, I can, like, people are going to pay for this.
Yeah. Yes.
Actually, when I was a freshman in high school, I told my family I wanted to be a photographer and they told me you wouldn't make any money from it. And I mean, you gave me $20, right? So $20.
That's all I had, girl. That's all I had.
I was gonna put gas back in my car to go back to the North End. But besides that, I had to put in the work.
Yeah. And put in the work you did. And I want to talk to you more because this is, I'm glad that you were able to I know you're so busy, but I'm glad that you took the time out to come because I know this is senior portrait season and I know this is busy for you. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more and promote this business. We're going to take one break. You're watching We Live in Color with my girl, Ashley.
Whoop, whoop.
My name's Deontay Damper, and I want to talk to you about something real. Mental health, substance use, alcohol use, things many of us often carry in this community, often in silence. What a lot of people don't know is this: crisis care services in King County are free, and they're available 24/7 for every single one of us. You can call 988 at any time and reach out to trained, compassionate counselors right here in this very region. And we're talking about people who listen and stay with you through the moment to figure out what you need. Now, if you want someone to come to you, they'll send their mobile crisis teams anywhere in King County. These mental health professionals and people with lived experience, not law enforcement, from DESC, YMCA, and the Sound, will show up and support you. And now there's another option. You can walk into one of King County's crisis care centers anytime for urgent mental health and substance use support. Just like you walk into urgent care for a broken arm, but this time it's for your mind and your recovery. No insurance, no appointments, just walk in. The first center is actually open right now in Kirkland, and people are already coming through those doors every day. And more centers are on the way, actually in the comings of years, including Seattle on First Hill, in South King County, on the east side, and one specifically just for our youth. We all know someone who struggles. I have. Maybe you have. Or someone you love. Asking for help can often feel hard, but you're not alone. You have someone to call. Someone who can show up, and now a safe place to go. These services are free, and they're here because communities demanded better. They voted to make it real. The doors are open. Walk in when you need to. And we're back with my girl, Ashley K. Smith. Now, Ashley, this is my favorite part of the show where we do our We Live in Color tribute. Who has helped you live in color?
I take it back to when I was, as I said, when I was at Everett Community College. I actually spent a long time there. I took the long road to get my associate's degree. And I was at Everett Community College, and this guy, his name is Gerard Grant. Gerard Grant, he was the guy that really just would push me. Like anytime that I wanted to play small or didn't want to take an opportunity or whatever it was, he was like, nah, you're going to, you have to. But he also opened the doors for me to experience other people that were also on campus, from Avianca and Omar and Kessia. They all were my community that I needed. When my family didn't understand what was happening with me, I didn't feel like I was safe to go talk to them. So I didn't see them. I didn't see my family often, and when I did, I would put on a dress. And then at campus, because I was living on campus, I would be in whatever it was that I was wearing. And so it was huge shout out to Gerard, who really just told me it was okay to be my authentic self, that it was okay for me to be loud. It was okay for me to just to show up as me and not have to be on a stage.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out Gerard. I need to meet Gerard. I need some advice. That's beautiful. I mean, because you've been able to own all of who you are. Yeah. And now here we are in this season. You have some great things coming up. Yeah. This is senior portrait season.
Senior portrait season.
How does this work? Like when you are within this season, what are some of the things that community, especially the seniors, can get when they get photographed by you?
Yeah, so our main thing when it comes to senior photo, a lot of people think senior photos are like either you go into a studio, put on the drape around your neck, and you take your photo and you're gone, right? With ours, we've actually changed that experience to make it an actual experience, something that you want to remember, something that actually tells the senior story versus it just being, all right, cookie cutter, everyone has the same photo. And so with us, we want to get to know our clients. We want to get to know their story. We want to hear what their dream senior session looks like. So whether it's photos in a field or photos with their guitar or maybe on the sports field or whatever that looks like, we create really fun and creative senior sessions. And so not only do we, it's a thing of creating it, right? But the thing is we help you plan it. We help you plan what to wear. We help you figure out what locations that you want to your photos at, so you don't have to think of that. We offer hair and makeup.
Okay.
So like, I promise you, all the things that the kids have to do is just show up. Parents love it. But then on the flip side, when during the session, right, we're having fun, we're dancing, we're doing the TikToks, all those things. But after the session is like where the transformation really happens. It's where they're able to get to see their photos on the big screen. So we do a reveal session. I have a studio in Issaquah. And so they come into the studio, right? I have a TV and they have, I show their photos via the slideshow. And that's when you start seeing like, just like, wow.
That glow.
Yes. And like, I have a video of this kid, his name is Damani. And so what he was showing he was seeing his pictures for the first time, and he was literally screaming in his house, "That's me, that's me." And that video reminds me, like you said, like when did you know this is what you wanted to do? It's those reactions that I get often where the kids are like, wow, that's me. Like you captured me. Or like a parent telling me that like, we didn't know if we would ever get to this moment because their child has tried committing suicide multiple times.
Oh, wow.
Right. So you get those families. And so after that, it's the products we offer. We offer products. So we offer albums, wall art, because we're bringing it back to old school. The digital files, that's cool. But like having printed photos, seeing printed photos, kind of like what we see in our back, right? There's nothing like that. Versus, because like if you had this digitally, that's cool. But being able to see our history right there on color, you said live in color, right? Live in color is the most beautiful thing in the world.
See, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do a call to action. I want you to promote this to community, right? So I want you to look in this camera right here and give them the call to action. Let them know where they can find you. Let them know about your sessions and let them know all the things.
All right. So if you have a high school current junior, I'm currently looking for high school juniors, class of 2027, parents and students that are looking for a full experience. They're not looking for that quick, all right, here's some digitals, but they're actually looking for a full experience where not only are you going to have beautiful photos, but you're actually going to experience a transformation where you will be able to have a photographer that wants to build your confidence, get to know you, tell your story. And so where you can find me is social media. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, lastforeverimages.com is my website, and my handles are at lastforeverimages.
And you talking about you nervous, and you just did that. That was so good. I am, whatever. Ashley, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I am, the first photo shoot that you did do, that was my first photo shoot ever.
Oh, wow.
And I use those photos for a long time.
I was like, when are you going to stop?
When am I going to stop? Because I go back to it often because it's a reminder. Because remember, you also did the video.
Yeah.
And all of those things that I aspired to do, I'm doing now.
Yeah.
And when you say Last Forever Images, like we have that memory together. And I want people to be able to capture the same moment that I had with you. And I'm just very appreciative and proud of all the work that you've done.
I'm appreciative of you too. I mean, that means I was 7 years ago that we took those photos, which means that was 7 years ago that I picked up a camera.
Yeah.
And 7 years ago, I didn't know what I was doing. I still don't know what I'm doing.
You're doing it right.
But I'm figuring it out. And so I really appreciate, like, again, you just telling me my time is worth it. Even if my photos weren't the best.
They were great for me.
But you were like, your time is worth it and people will pay you for that. That has stuck with me. And literally every April, if I don't remember any other time, every April, I'm reminded of what you said and why I should keep going. And just to know that I have a studio now, I've picked up my business from Linwood to Issaquah and still have been blossoming. It's because of your belief in me. So thank you.
I love you. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, community. Next week, y'all. I mean, we're getting ready, man. May is here. May is here. And you know what May is? May is like Deontay's birthday month. It's Mother's Day and all the things.
It's also almost my birthday.
It's okay. This is We Live in Color.
Leo.
So Leo, that's like 3 months. Okay, so I'm going to get with Ashley to talk to her about how important May is here in this studio. But in the meantime, y'all, and Mother's Day. Join us next week. Same week. This is the first time I ever had to stop doing what I was doing. Join us next week. Same We Live in Color time. Same We Live in Color channel. Love y'all. Walk with love. Hey everybody, Deontay Damper. To learn more about our blog posts, community events, and more, go to whereweconverge.com.